Hi, good afternoon. I am Dr. Saurabh Kataria from Motherland Hospital, Sector 119, Noida. I am working here as a consultant pediatrician and neonatologist, and today I am here to talk about the vaccination in babies as well as COVID vaccination in mother. Okay, so the foremost common question which all the parents usually ask is whether the vaccination is important during these COVID times or not. So basically what I want to tell you is that vaccination, there are two types of vaccination. One is a routine vaccination and other is high risk. So in routine vaccination, it includes DPT, rotavirus, pneumonia, a pneumococcal virus, as well as Haemophilus influenza and typhoid and MMR, etc. And high risk vaccinations are which are not required in day-to-day normal routines, but if the situation is high risk, that time they become mandatory, like anti-rabies vaccine, that we don't require that anti-rabies vaccine, but in case a dog or a wild animal bites us, in that case it becomes high risk. So these are the two types, and it has been seen during the Ebola virus pandemic also that many people died because of measles and tuberculosis, because our healthcare system was so busy in treating those pandemics that they don't have proper time and personnel to treat these easily treatable diseases. So it's totally mandatory that you should get these vaccinations as per your vaccination schedule. So, and there should not be much of a delay in getting these vaccination. And then the second most important question is that if the baby is, or the people around the baby, the parents or the grandparents are suffering from COVID, at that time is it essential to take the vaccination? The answer to that is that if anyone who is coming into close contact of a baby is advised to stay at home till all the family members recover from the vaccination, and at least 2 weeks after they test negative and they are symptoms free, that time baby should be taken for vaccination. But in case if we don't know that baby is infected or anyone is infected and baby takes a vaccination during the incubation period. Incubation period means the time the virus enters the body and the time in which the baby develops the symptoms. The period between the virus entering the baby's body and baby showing the symptoms, that is called the incubation period. If by any chance baby gets the vaccination during that period, it has been shown that baby develops sufficient amount of antibodies and immunity against the bacteria or virus for which you have taken the vaccination. So in case the baby takes any vaccination during the incubation period, it is highly likely that baby will get proper immunity against that disease. And another question that comes that many parents ask is whether the vaccination increases a child's risk of developing COVID-19, or a vaccination interfering with the immunity of the baby so that baby becomes a high risk for getting COVID-19 severe infection. The answer to that is that usually if we take any vaccination for a different disease, it doesn't put your baby on a higher risk of getting a COVID vaccine, COVID infection. होता क्या है कि basically once you take a vaccination, it creates immunity for that particular disease. It doesn't interfere with the immunity of the body. So if you take a vaccination during COVID pandemic, it has been shown that the baby doesn't have any high risk of getting a serious infection. The next question is there any change in the current vaccination schedule due to the COVID pandemic? Right now, as per today, the latest news is that the Pfizer vaccine, which is prepared in USA, that is eligible. They have done the proper trials for children who are more than 12 years of age. So if that is allowed in India, definitely that is the extra COVID vaccine which you need to take for your baby who is 12 years and older. But those babies who are younger than 12 years, there is no extra vaccine or no extra changes in the vaccination schedule which are supposed to be taken. So only for 12 plus, and that too Pfizer vaccine, if that is allowed in India. Otherwise, total vaccination schedule is exactly the same. As per current recommendation, there is no further additions. Then this other question is whether the lactating women should take the COVID vaccination or not, and which vaccination to prefer. So these are the two questions which usually lactating mothers ask. So before 19th of May, the government guidelines clearly stated that no vaccination for COVID should be given to either pregnant women or lactating women. But the UK guidelines and the US guidelines prior to 19th May advocated vaccination of lactating women as well as the pregnant women. But since May 19, even Indian guidelines have said that lactating women should take vaccination as per the normal schedule. It doesn't affect your lactating your baby. It doesn't affect your baby at all. Okay, only thing is it has been seen that many of the times the COVID antibodies which lactating mothers will develop over a period of time will pass on through the baby through your breast milk. So, and after taking the vaccination, you should not stop for any period of time. You should not stop lactating your child. You should continue that, and you should go for the vaccination. Now coming on which type of vaccinations. See, right now in India, we don't have an option. Okay, already we are on shortage of vaccines. So whatever vaccine you get, both Covaxin as well as Covishield have shown to protect the vaccinee from severe disease. So you should take whatever vaccine is available to you right now with proper interval. 4 weeks for Covaxin and 12 weeks for Covishield. And definitely a lactating woman should go for a COVID vaccination. And then another question comes which we used to hear in first wave, that whether BCG and MMR vaccines have shown to increase or reduce the mortality against the COVID vaccination. So regarding that, BCG and MMR, there were some studies which were done and which showed that those countries in which BCG and MMR vaccination is going on for schedule had comparatively less mortality, but further studies are done. Further studies are needed to advocate whether any changes should be done and whether BCG and MMR are really protective against COVID or not. Right now, we don't have any sufficient evidence to say that BCG or MMR, any of these vaccinations, whether they prevent COVID severe infection or mortality or not, we don't have any sufficient evidence as per now. And as per current recommendations, they should not be taken for the purpose of improvement from COVID disease. Then someone has asked me a question that if parents are COVID positive and baby's vaccination is due, for how long can we delay the vaccination? As I've already told that once each and every member of your family is COVID negative, you have to wait for a period of 2 weeks after that, and then the baby can take the vaccination which was scheduled. Then another question, similar question is what is to be done if the COVID vaccinations, if the normal routine vaccinations are missed during COVID or because of some other reasons. So what I want to say is, there are again in routine vaccination which is mentioned in your vaccination card, there are some vaccination which are important and some which are not so much important. The not so much important are 2 vaccines usually, which is hepatitis A vaccine and second is human papilloma virus vaccine. HAV, that is anti-hepatitis A vaccine, and human papilloma virus should be given if due, but if some other vaccines are pending, they should take the first priority. After that, we can do hepatitis A and human papilloma virus vaccinations. And second question is, if a pregnant lady has recovered from COVID, will her baby develop antibodies? The answer to that is, if a mother gets a COVID infection, only thing is mother should have sufficient time to develop antibodies in her body, because if we get any infection, And IgG, there are two types of antibodies mainly. One is IgM and one is IgG. So IgM is those antibodies which are formed shortly after the disease, and they are not very long lasting, they are short lasting. And second type is IgG. Usually IgG are long lasting and they take a little time after the infection. So IgG are the vaccines which can cross the placenta and go to the baby. So if a mother has sufficient time in her pregnancy, then definitely those IgG antibodies will go to the baby, will get transferred to the baby. And usually it takes a period of 2 to 4 weeks after the mother is cured. That time antibodies, IgG type of antibodies will develop, and they will definitely go to the baby through placenta. Then the next question is there a reschedule of vaccination in the containment zone? Definitely it's not possible for a parent or a caretaker to take your baby to the vaccination center if they are in containment zone or if they are isolated. Again, the answer to that is you have to wait till your area is out of the containment or the red zone, and then if your containment area is out of the red zone and all of you are you have recovered from COVID infection, then you should bring. And then depending upon what vaccinations are pending, your doctor will advise you how to take those vaccines. Minimum gap between 2 vaccination days should be 4 weeks in case of live vaccine, and in case of inactivated vaccine the minimum schedule is 24 days. That means 4 days less than 4 weeks. According to that we can vaccinate your baby. And secondly, we can vaccinate the baby with 2 to 3 or 4, sometimes if baby is old enough, 4 vaccinations can be given to a baby in a particular day, and the next vaccination which are left can be given after 4 weeks, or depending upon if they are inactivated, then within 24 days they can be given. Then next most important question is, will routine flu vaccine save the baby from COVID-19 in any way? Again, see, flu vaccine is right now recommended in every baby who is less than 5 years of age. 2 shots every year in pre-monsoon season. Pre-monsoon season is somewhere starting from now till July, till June end and July. It's a pre-monsoon season. In that time, flu vaccination 2 doses are recommended 4 weeks apart of different brands. So what happens is, again, if your baby catches flu in this season, it's very difficult for us to differentiate between flu and COVID until unless we have a sure shot COVID RT-PCR test. So what happens is, again, there are in smaller children there is a chance of morbidity due to flu. So flu vaccination should be taken in every baby who is less than 5 years of age, 2 shots in pre-monsoon season which is going on. And secondly, those babies who are having some associated comorbidities, they are also at slightly higher risk, so they should also take flu vaccination 2 shots for your baby. Flu is, if we catch a flu, it's a normal cold and cough which lasts for 5 to 7 days. But in extreme of the ages, like those who are newly born or those who are old age, plus those people who have associated risk factors like some chronic diseases, they are at high risk of developing morbidity and sometimes mortality due to flu. Those people should definitely take 2 shots of flu vaccine, and it is a yearly vaccine. You have to take it every year. Till 5 years it is mandatory according to Indian Academy of Pediatrics. The next question which is asked is COVID very risky for babies, and what should be taken to avoid COVID? See, right now the second wave is going on. In the first wave, we saw that very few children got COVID, even though their parents had COVID. Very few children got COVID the last time, but this time I have seen, and even there are cases that more and more children have got COVID. So, but luckily, not many children were sick or developed severe complications of COVID until unless again they had some comorbidities like chronic heart disease or kidney disease. So the associated question is how we can prevent that. first and foremost important thing is the children will get COVID through the parents or the primary caretaker. So they have to take proper precautions. There are very, very less cases where the baby or the children have got the COVID first and they have transferred it to the parents. Mostly it's from parents or grandparents or caretaker, they get COVID first and then they transmit it to the babies. So what you have to do is, first of all, you have to make sure that you should go out only when it is necessary, and babies or children should not go out for any reasons. Secondly, what you have to do is, when you go out, you have to take proper precautions like proper distancing, proper social mask, wearing masks in the social area, proper hand washing. You have to take care of yourself first, and if you take care of yourself, then it's very, very less likely that baby will develop COVID symptoms. And secondly, if you have to take baby out for some reasons, make sure that baby also washes hands and he manages proper distancing. And sometimes it becomes very difficult for baby to wear mask, especially when the baby is 1 or 2 or 3 years old. Sometimes mask can create more problems than it solves. Like if the baby is wearing a mask, they don't know where to touch or where not to touch. They will definitely touch on the front face of the mask, which might be full of COVID. So you have to make sure if the baby wear mask, he should wear a mask and he should not touch the mask at any time. You should be the one who takes out the mask or who put the mask, and nobody should touch the front part of the mask. So these are the precautions which you should take for preventing COVID. Mainly it's you who should take care of yourself, and your baby will be protected. The next question is Covishield and Covaxin is affected against double mutant strain? So basically there are double mutant is an old one. Now some triple mutant has also come. So according to the data which we have right now, there is a difference between Covishield and Covaxin, but Covishield has been used in multiple countries. So we have a much larger data for Covishield, but Covaxin we have data but which is not good enough as good as Covishield. So Covaxin, according to the limited data we have, Covaxin works better against a double mutant strain, but you have to remember that Covaxin has a limited data, but Covishield has been used in so many countries, so we have a large number of data. Covishield also works against double mutant, but the efficacy is comparatively less as compared to Covaxin, but again Covaxin has a much lower data. So right now we cannot say for sure that Covaxin is better than Covishield, but definitely whatever is available, you should take it. The next question is there any chance sooner for the COVID vaccine recommendation in kids, as we are heading that third wave is about to come? See, and do you agree that third wave will be dangerous for children? See, main thing is that third wave is, right now still second wave is going on. Okay? The other thing is ki most of us, the adults, will get vaccination or they will be infected. And same is true for children also. Second wave, they are also getting infected. So those people who have already got the vaccination, those people who have already got the infection, they are at lesser risk of getting the infection. So obviously children will be mostly children will be the ones who will be either not vaccinated or not infected. So they will be at a higher risk of getting infected, but I'm not sure whether they will be on a dangerous risk. They will develop a severe morbidity like we faced 1 month back, where we had shortage of beds because more and more people were getting more seriously affected. Definitely children will be at higher risk, but I don't think that they will be at higher risk of serious infection. Okay? But again right now those vaccines which are being tested are usually tested in children above 10 years of age. So till 10 to 12 years, even Pfizer is recommended now, and Covaxin trials are going on for children who are between 10 to 18 years of age. But less than that, still there are few vaccines which are in trial mode, but whether they work or they won't, we will come to know only with time. But please keep yourself safe. Even if you are vaccinated, even if you are infected with COVID and you have recovered, that doesn't mean that you are immune to COVID other strains, and that doesn't mean that you can't be a carrier. You can definitely be a carrier, and you can take you can take the infection from outside to inside your home and to your kids. So most important thing is that never consider yourself safe even if you have got vaccination or even if you have recovered. The main takeaway message is please take proper precautions, because you are the one, the parents or the caretakers are the one which will take the infection to their home and give it to their kids. So please take that message and keep yourself safe, and please follow all the proper precautions. And the next question is, fever can also come after routine vaccination. For how long should we wait for fever to subside and to differentiate it from COVID? See, according to the recent things, the vaccination fever usually lasts for 24 to 48 hours. And secondly, we consider COVID in a patient, and we test a patient for a kid for a COVID RT-PCR if we have a strong suspicion that baby, even the family members have COVID. So if no family member is showing any symptoms of COVID, they have taken proper precautions, and baby has just got fever immediately after the vaccine, we can wait for 48 hours, 48 to 72 hours for fever to subside. And once 48 to 72 hours period is over, usually almost 95 to 99% babies, they don't get fever again. But if they continue to have fever after 3-4 days, that time you should go for a COVID RT-PCR test. And or if somebody in the close contact of the kid is having symptoms of COVID, that time everyone in the family should get a COVID RT-PCR done. So these are the queries, and you can still ask if you have any more questions. Okay, the next question is, why children are less susceptible to COVID even though family contact is there? See, basically, we are not sure why, children are less susceptible. Children are totally, this wave has shown that even children are equally susceptible, but they are at a lower risk of severe COVID disease, because you have seen that those, the adults who have high risk factors, who smoke regularly, who have asthma conditions, who have heart disease, who have kidney disease, they are comparative, or sometimes in a pregnant woman, those are where immunity is kind of disturbed. Those are the people who are at high risk. Even adults who lead a healthy lifestyle, who do the exercise, who eat healthy, they are again at same lower risk as children. So most likely because of that only children are at lower risk, but they are definitely susceptible, but they are at lower risk of developing a severe infection or hospitalization for the same. Third, the question is, any certain precautions if a small baby is living in the same household where a COVID-19 has been quarantined? See, that is a very important question. Thing is, if the parents suppose have got the COVID infection and baby is also staying with them, most likely till the time they have developed symptoms and till the time they have been detected as COVID-19 infected, by that time baby most likely has got the COVID infection. But what wrong we do is, when the parents are suspected of having COVID infection, the baby is transferred to the grandparents. That is the worst thing which you can do. Ideally, what should be done is, if the parents are having COVID infection, either parents should take care of the baby, or someone who has recovered, who has taken vaccination, should take care of the baby, preferably those who are of younger age. But transferring the baby to a caretaker who is old, like grandparents, that puts them, because baby most likely is carried at this stage. So if you shift a baby from your care to your parents, grandparents care, that time it's a very high risk that baby can give the infection to the grandparents, and that can become very, very fatal for grandparents. So that should never be done. What should be done is either you keep the baby with yourself, because especially in the lactating mothers, breastfeeding should also continue even if the mother is COVID positive. And secondly, if possible, isolate a family member and any young member who is recovered from COVID-19 or who is vaccinated. That young family member can take care of the baby. Otherwise, don't keep the baby with the grandparents, because it might become fatal for them. So I think these were the all questions. Hopefully you are satisfied by the answers, and thank you for attending the webinar. If you have any queries, you can contact Motherland Hospital for further things, and we will be happy to answer that again. Thank you.